Hi,
Good
everybody.
morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. I feel like I've been in a time warp. Welcome to Wednesday's advocacy chat. We're taking a little bit of a different tack. The sun just went behind a cloud. I had beautiful lighting, and now I don't. And so, Kevin, run the intro, and I'm going to put a light on.
Let's do that. Let's turn the light up.
The beauty of working with Mother Nature. She does what
That's
she
right.
wants. So, yes, welcome everybody to Wednesday's program. I'm Dr. Andrea, a pharmacist with 30 years experience that's now in patient advocacy. With me is my co-host, Dr. Kevin Walker, co-founder of RPH Ally. He's on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. And like I said at the beginning of this session, today we're switching. We're very excited over here at RPH Ally. We have a big reveal. This is the first time we're talking about it, I guess live, so to speak. It's been behind the scenes for a while being developed. And so, we are launching a very lean, a no fluff, no BS cohort. And Kevin, you want to talk a little bit about it or what's going on? Or
I'd love to, Andrea. So here's kind of the scoop. Right now, I think with everybody trying to do new things or add new things to what they're already doing, one issue is time. Like we only have so much time to be able to get some things done. And so having a cohort, something that is over a 4 to 6 week, depending on the individual channel, period of time, so that you can dive into the basic foundational elements of what it is to, in this case, jump into patient advocacy. Depending on your role and your background, you'll have those foundational elements to really secure, the next steps for you in your career and how to leverage patient advocacy in what you're doing. And doing it quickly is fantastic. The other thing that's fantastic is Andrea has been gracious enough to add on. It is buy one, get one half off inside of our RPH Ally until the 31st of this month. The cohort is starting rather quickly. This is going to be a real grassroots cohort. So honestly, you're probably going to get more out of Andrea, not to demean the next month and the next month and next month, but you'll be able to soak up a ton of information from Andrea during this time because you're going to be in that first phase of pulling information out, seeing what kind of works the best for you and getting a real hand-holding experience of what's going to work best in your kind of position. But I'm really excited, Andrea, to hear more about it and kind of why you think this is going to make sense for pharmacy to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and we've had these conversations for a few months because I've shared the challenges that I had as I went into this space, the past 3 years, the different coaches, the different payment models that I received in training, what I needed, what I wanted, and just there's a lot out there. And we know that particularly for pharmacists that are looking for innovative practice models, maybe side hustles, alternatives, maybe it's something they truly want to hang as a primary shingle. The investments can be very high. Oftentimes, the programs are designed to be evergreen or asynchronous, and so you buy into something. I was actually just thinking of something my husband and I bought this weekend, not related to this. The marketing was beautiful, and then we got it, and I was like,
Andrea.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible, and so we thank goodness we were able to get a refund. But yeah, so sometimes you get into something and you're like, well, wait a second, I still have more questions. I get to the end, I don't know what's going on. And so when I started thinking about how's the best way to share with pharmacists what is patient advocacy, because we've talked about this since the beginning. Are pharmacists advocates? Absolutely. Are they patient advocates? There's a nuance to that, right? And so understanding that nuance, and depending where you are in the cycle, are you dreaming? Do you have a plan? Do you have a business already and you want to craft something that is a value add service into that? How do you do that? Do you understand marketing? All these different things. Is there a way to bring all these topics to light quick, lean, efficiently, with me live, as opposed to getting in and watching modules 15 minutes. And I know my coaching friends out there are probably going, seriously? Because when they see the investment price, they're going to be like, you're doing that live. because we know what happens, right? Because it does take a lot to get a person in that room, and that's why we're being very intentional with it. It's for the participants, and we are focused on what you need to know to determine then down, after this 4 weeks, in the end, how do you want to build that advocacy practice, and what would that look like, right? Or are you just trying to beef up that patient-centric experience with an existing model? And I believe I sent you the outline. And so if you wanted to share like how we're breaking into this or how we break it up.
You did, Andrew, and the outline is fantastic. And in my email, it says downloading attachments and does not allow me to download it right now. So we're stuck on that. But going through the outline, Andrea, so if I'm a student and I'm thinking, I have no idea if I want to take this course. What am I going to get out of it? And how does it kind of work out for me on an each week basis? And how should I be prepared to get the most out of it? What am I doing week one?
Week one, work that out, the outline. Because I'm thinking, I changed it at the last minute.
Is it in your sent folder right now, Andrea?
I'm looking.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, this is what happens with live, right?
Beauties of modern technology, right? But no, I think so. When we break down the outline, the one thing I wanted to highlight when you're pulling that up right now, Andrea, is this. We just don't have time, for so many things. And there's so many asynchronous kind of opportunities anymore. Everybody is selling a course. To be perfectly honest, I don't care about the sales. I don't care about the courses. I care about pharmacy getting better at serving patients. And I think this is a way for us to be able to do that, for us to be able to connect the dots on what can I do to pivot my mindset. So it's not just medication advocacy or health advocacy, it is patient advocacy. And seeing, now I'm doing some consulting, Andrea, that you already know, and that consulting happens to happen inside of a retail pharmacy, and seeing the way that the interaction and the transactional relationships occur in every setting in retail pharmacy, is great, and totally understood that you want to be efficient and get product out and make sure folks have what they need. But the one thing that we are missing oftentimes is that perspective of the patient and what they actually need and what they can be successful with in terms of their motivation. So I'm really excited about the pivot that you're doing.
Well, and I got the outline over here pulled up, but to piggyback on what you said, when I was teaching geriatrics at the University of St. Joseph, one of the things I would highlight in my classes, imagine walking up to the counter of your Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, insert, big Y, wherever you are, your local pharmacy, right? And imagine that, you have a mobility assistance device. Maybe you use a cane. Maybe you're using a walker. Maybe you're in a wheelchair. Maybe you have an artificial limb. Maybe you are sensory sensitive. Maybe you're extremely tall. Maybe you're not, and look at the interaction of what your clients, your patients face when they walk up to the counter. I mean, I'm old enough pharmacist to remember the days where we were up on platforms behind doors. We looked over the top of the counter at people, all because it was supposedly safer. Like somebody can't jump a counter. And look at all the barriers that are there, right? Social distancing, by the time some of these pharmacy queues, I've taken pictures at the Walgreens that's in my sister's hometown, and I'm not picking on Walgreens. I worked for you for a decade. But I mean, there could be 15, 18 cars in the drive-through. And if you go inside, people are snaked halfway down the cold and flu medication aisle, waiting in line to pick up medications. And people that are getting consultations are right there in front of everybody, despite, trying to keep stuff private. It's absolute chaos at times. And so, yes, if you wanted, like if you were in this cohort and you were like, look, I don't want to be a primary patient advocate, but I just want to be able to boost that up, that would be something we could talk about, because it's going to be live. We're in person. We're going to brainstorm. It's not module after module. I mean, yeah, you're going to get some tools. But yeah, there's more to it than just sitting and reading and then still being sent out on your own.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, I think that's the toughest piece.
Did your outline download, or I can go through it?
Yeah, go ahead and go on, Andrew.
Okay, so week one, like I said, I looked at it and I tried to be lean, efficient, no fluff, no BS. So week one, their themes. I am not telling you how to build an advocacy business. I'm not telling you how to build my advocacy business. It is personal. You become your. I mean, anybody that's in entrepreneurship knows you kind of become your brand. So week one, we are going to talk about some logistics, business organization, and culture, what that looks like for you. Are you going to be a solopreneur like me? No real team. I'm the one that's doing the Canva, which I was actually very proud of this work that I did recently. Are you doing the one are you the one doing email campaigns? Or are you going to have a team? Do you already have a pharmacy and you're looking at like piggybacking something of this in, to do more of an education for technicians or your support staff or your team members? So we're going to talk about that, and then you bring your questions, because like I said, we're going to meet live on Zoom, and it will be directed by what you need. Week two, connecting to your why and bridging the gap. And it's really like, why did we do this? And that's kind of, you and I've talked about this, what led me to officially step into advocacy full time. I just could not take it anymore. I think it was Dr. Jerika Dodd once. She was one of my early coaches. Said something about what's your you cannot tolerate list, and I could not tolerate what I was seeing anymore. And that's when it hit me, I was like, that's my why. But it's deeper than that. It's also connected to things over 50 years of my life, and then finding that thing that I talk about. That gap between where people want to be and where they are, and how can you bridge it? How can you help them walk that path? How can you make it easier? Week three, we're going to go into some marketing 101, the powers of story. I get a lot of requests from people to, they're just cold emails like, can you tell me about your SEO? Can you tell me about your website? Can you tell me about all this stuff? And while I want to help people, let's be real, I have a finite amount of time. And so how do we do that efficiently? Again, another reason to join this cohort, because this is what we'll talk about. Do you need a website? I would say no. In many cases, you don't, unless you know exactly what you're going to put on that, or have a good understanding of what you're going to put on it. Otherwise, they expire. You don't know what you're doing in the beginning. And so we talk about that, understanding. So it's taking that, your why, bridging your gap, and then going into that marketing 101, the power of story. And then in week four, we're going to take all these puzzle pieces, like a jigsaw puzzle. We're going to lay them out on the table, and you're going to build yourself a roadmap. And when you leave, in a month, are you going to have a what is it? ACPE, a standard of a business plan to launch? You're, like all the students do now in their business course, write a business plan. Are you going to have that? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It depends on what your goals were, right? But in that week four, we're going to put all the puzzle pieces on the table, and you're going to start to assemble what that looks like. You're going to do a roadmap, 30, 60, 90-day goals. You're going to have a strategy for moving forward. You're going to know what you know. You're going to know what you don't know, possibly. You're going to have better insight into what you don't know. You're going to know where your personal gaps are. You're going to understand your zone of genius. And you're going to know what most likely aligns with you.
I love that, Andrea. And I know that we both have to hop. It has been really exciting to just hear about an April cohort starting and folks being able to join. I think for me, Andrea, it's really this. There are opportunities in patient advocacy to not only benefit financially wherever you're at, but also, most importantly, to benefit patients. And I think that you being able to help folks see the gaps that are out there right now and the opportunities for you to be able to step in, utilize all of your skill sets to be able to fill those gaps for patients is just a huge blessing. So I'm really excited about it. Andrea, any parting words for the audience?
No, well, join RPH Ally. If you're not a member yet, join it, because that's how you find the program. Remember, this is time sensitive because we're doing these monthly cohorts, and there's some logistical aspects of this. We want to find out when everybody can meet. And this is part of my work. So, I have to make sure that I can also fulfill my other commitments. And so it's time sensitive, particularly for the enrollment. Otherwise, you go into the wait list for the next cohort. So, if you have questions, you can reach out to me, reach out to Kevin, join RPH Ally. I have a patient advocacy channel, and you can actually see the register there, or just comment on Facebook. We're both there as well.
Right, wherever.
You can
But
find it.
you guys will find it. All the RPH Ally members, you guys got an email about it to introduce kind of the elements inside. And if you're not an RPH Ally member, just like Andrea said, jump on over there. It is free to join, and all kinds of great information, good people in there. And you can find out more details there. But hurry, because everything ends for the buy one, get one half off on the 31st. And so we're going to jump in there and have a lot of fun. But we will talk to you guys next week. Have a good rest of the day.
Take care.